let's get crafty. So, we are doing a craft that we're hoping you can use for Valentine's Day maybe, or just something to give to a friend for Valentine's Day, or maybe just to give to a friend on another occasion where you want to make them feel special. You can also give these to a family member. What we're making today are these cute little Valentine's Day card donuts. And this is actually one of the crafts that is fairly simple. There's not a lot of craft supplies, so if you go through all the supplies we give you, you might have a lot of this stuff at home, so you can just keep making more if you feel like it. So what we're going to provide you in our crafty bags today are some pre-cut circles for you, and these we're going to use for the donut and then the frosting. We also are going to provide you some little hearts. They might be slightly different shapes, and those we're going to put in the middle of our frosting. And one thing I want to let you know is that you might receive some foam shapes that don't have any sticky on them. That's okay. And you might receive some that do have sticky on them. So today I'm going to save the sticky ones for you to make sure you get as many of those as possible, because I know that's a little easier. So I'm going to be using the foam ones to do the demonstration. You will also get some fun little googly eyes, because who doesn't like googly eyes on your craft? I just love when they move around. It's so much fun. It just adds another element. If you're not a fan of googly eyes for whatever reason, you don't need to use them. You can of course use markers or crayons to create eyes for our donuts. Okay, and then another thing we'll give you is these little circles, which we're going to use to trace our donut holes. So just make the cutting a little more precise. If you don't want to do that stuff, you don't have to. Again, the whole point of this is to have fun. We're not making things perfect here. We're just going to have a good time. Okay. So before you get started, some other things you're going to need that we aren't providing you are going to be scissors, some markers, and these markers you're going to use to do the little swirl effect if you want to put some hearts or some confetti or sprinkles, I should say. You don't want to eat confetti. Some sprinkles on your donut, that's what you're going to use these for. If you have little stickers at home and you think those would look perfect on your donut, by all means, go ahead, grab those. You can totally use those. I think that would be a lot of fun. And you don't have to do these exact designs we're giving you. Really decorate your donuts any way you think will work best. Whatever you think is going to be the cutest. Okay, so the one thing you want to think about is we have these colors here set out for your donuts. So we have a pink donut, maybe it's strawberry flavored, maybe it's raspberry flavored, could even be bubblegum flavored. We have that for our cake of our donut. And our frosting here is maybe a vanilla. But you don't have to follow these colors we've laid out. But you might want to pre-plan that before you start cutting. That way you know what your background color is going to be. So if you want a chocolate donut, have the brown donut for the background. But maybe you want the pink donut with chocolate frosting. You can totally do that. Or vanilla donut with chocolate frosting. So I think I'm going to stick with these colors we have laid out here, just to make it a little easier for people when they're planning. So I'm going to start with my pink donut. And I think I'm going to have it be strawberry flavored because that just sounds delicious to me. Okay, so you start with your donut. We're just going to put this aside. And then the first thing I'm going to do is cut the hole in the middle of my donut. So I'm going to line this up close to the middle of my circle as I can. I'm not great at seeing straight, actually. It's just one of those things I always have. So sometimes I'm not great about lining things up directly in the center. So again, we're not going for perfection. It's okay if it's not directly in the center. I mean, how many times have you seen a donut where the hole is perfectly in the middle? I've never paid attention to that. I care more about how it tastes. Let's see. So we're just tracing that circle, and voila. And then in order to cut a hole, this is something you might need help with. Maybe a parent or a sibling is around to help you, someone older who can help you out. But it can be really hard to cut a circle out of the middle of a shape. So you have a few options. You could fold it and then cut around the edges. I'm gonna try to actually poke a hole in my paper with my pen or pencil. And I'm just gonna twirl it around to make my hole a little bigger. Then I'm gonna take my scissors and cut a line across. And this is what I'm gonna use. Once I get my line wide enough, then I can cut around. And again, the circle we put in the middle is just a guide. If your circle is a little bigger, that's okay. If it's a little smaller, that's okay too. You can always cut out part of it and then go back and cut more if you want to get the shape a little different. Okay, so that is my donut hole. So that is much bigger actually than what we have here, but that's totally okay. And so for the frosting, you can see there's kind of different squiggly patterns. So we have like a very wide squiggly pattern on the edge. We have some tighter, and then even tighter there, just to have different variations in our frosting. So you can choose however you want your frosting to kind of be spread out in your donut. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. So I'm new to the area, so I actually haven't found really a donut place around here that is a favorite of mine yet. So if you have suggestions of some of your favorite donut places, feel free to share them on the Facebook post of this, and that could be a great way to help me discover a new donut place in the area. Okay. So again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Mine almost kind of looks like a flower. Not a perfect flower, but it's almost there. So now, one thing to think of before you put your glue on and paste it onto your cake donut side is to double check and make sure you can't see any of the tracing you do. It's okay if you do, but it's something to think about. Sometimes I don't always remember to make sure the tracing doesn't hide, but if you can double check that before you paste it on, that always will make your project just look a little bit nicer. And the other thing is you could, if you wanted to, put your eyes and your mouth and even your squiggles on before you paste it. It's totally up to you. If you're using liquid glue, it might be easier to decorate your frosting before you put it on your donut. But again, that is up to you. So I'm putting that on there. And my frosting almost goes a little bit over the edge of my donut, but that's okay, it still looks nice. One thing I might have wanted to check before I pasted this on there is to make sure the heart fit in the middle. But luckily my hole is big enough that it does. So another thing to check is your hole big enough for the heart you're putting on? And then since I don't have the sticky back, I'm just adding some glue, sticking my heart into the middle, right there. Looking good so far. So, then I want to make my little chocolate swirl. I'm assuming it's a chocolate swirl. It could be something else. Maybe it's like a coffee drizzle for parents who love coffee. Okay, So I'm just gonna take my marker, swoop it there, come around, make another corner, stop at the edge, come back, swoop here, another swoop and down. And so this is not a very thick line. If you have a thicker marker, you might be able to get that line just by doing some swoops in one go. What I'm gonna do is just color my line a little bit, make it a little thicker, because I'm a fan of chocolate on my donut. So I would like a little more of a chocolate swirl pattern, a chocolate drizzle on my donut. I don't know about you guys, but talking about chocolate and vanilla is making me hungry. Do you have a favorite kind of donut that you love to get? I know one of my favorites is those puffy donuts that have the vanilla cream inside. Those are delicious. And they are dusted with sugar on the outside. Yes. And like you have the vanilla icing coming out the top. Those are definitely some of my favorites. Also a big fan of strawberry icing on my donuts. And when I eat donuts or think of donuts, I always think of my family, because in the winter we used to go skiing. And when we skied, we would always get donuts on the way to the ski slopes. And we didn't eat donuts a lot when I was growing up. So going skiing was one of the times that we got the special treat of getting to eat donuts together. And I mean, there were other occasions too, but that's one that sticks out most in my memory. Okay, so now I'm adding my little mouth to my donut. And you can make a happy smile just like that. You could do an open smile. It is up to you. It is your donut. Okay, so then I'm adding glue onto my eyeball. I'm gonna put my eyeball on. My little googly eyeballs. So one there. And then I'm going to put another one right there. Try to get them nice and lined up. No, I pushed that one too hard and it popped right off. Okay. And I didn't put enough glue on that one, so let me put a little more glue on here. There we go. And there is my first donut. So I might make another one just because I was so fast. And these just look so cute. I want to keep going. So let's see, I think the one I'm going to make, I'm going to switch up my colors here. So I'm going to do you know what, I'm going to do a chocolate donut and do white icing on there. So I'm starting with my donut here. Again, I'm going to quickly trace my circle. And I might cut my circle out a little differently this time. I'm just going to fold it in half. And then I'm going to cut my circle here. So this can be tricky to do without folding the paper. So you can see there's a little bit of a crease, but that's okay. And we don't go for perfection, we go for fun. But that was one of the ways, that's why I wanted to show you a different way to cut it, because if the crease really bothers you, then if you poke the hole, that can be an easier way to do it. But hopefully when we glue this down, you won't really even be able to notice. that there was the crease. So, oh, and then actually before I go on to the next step, I'm gonna make sure my heart fits in the middle. So, you know what, it's a little tight, but I'm okay with that. And you can always, if you have a smaller heart, put that one in there. But for me, I don't mind that it's very close. I think that will still look cute. So yeah. Then the next thing I'm gonna do is cut the edges. And I'm gonna try to cut mine into a tighter wavy pattern for the frosting. Another cool pattern you could do for frosting is maybe you could do something that's a little more spirally and swirly. That could look really cool. Let's see. And I really started off with very tight frosting, and then it kind of got wider. So again, we're not going for perfect. We're just going for what's gonna look cute. You know what, I might just cut, see if I can cut there and turn these thicker ones into smaller little frosting bumps. There we go. Sometimes it's easy when you're doing the video to have such a good time talking that you kind of make little mistakes, but they can be happy little mistakes. And it is okay. Okay. So the next thing I'm gonna do before I glue it down, I wanna do more decorating on my frosting. So I think I do like the hearts, so I'm gonna do hearts on mine too, since I'm using this for a Valentine. Make some little hearts. And the way I was always taught to do hearts, which I'm very curious is just do one side and then connect the other side, and there you go. But maybe some of you do it all in one movement, so maybe you do that and then you keep going. However you want to make your hearts. And again, it doesn't have to be hearts. You could throw maybe some stars in there. You could even do little lines for like larger sprinkles if you wanted. And you could even mix it up with some smaller dots for the smaller sprinkles. However you want your donut to look works for us. You could even, if you wanted, write a message on your donut to someone. The nice thing about these is there is room on the back, so you can flip it over and you can write a little message there. And if you're using the chocolate donut or the brown donut, or making a chocolate donut, brown donut, you could always, if you had extra paper, write on a lighter color paper and then stick that right on the back. Okay. Yep. I feel like my marker bled a little and kind of made my hearts not so easy to see, and that's okay. This always makes me appreciate the artistry when people do their donut designs. like if they're doing designing on donuts or cupcakes with frosting, it's always interesting to realize how difficult it is to do that, because I'm even drawing these and my hearts are a little, they're not very, some of them aren't very well defined, so it always amazes me when people have the ability to draw things basically with food. So whether with like chocolate, do swirls in someone's name, or just when they put a name on a cake, that's very neat with frosting. It always is very impressive to me. It's a skill that not everyone has. So. Okay, so one thing I should have probably thought of while I was going is leaving enough space to do the face, but that's okay. I think I have enough room here. So I'm gonna do our little smile, and I'm gonna do an open smile for my donut. And then gonna put an eye on here. And then an eye. Just gonna cover that little sprinkle, but that's okay. Put an eye right there. Okay. So now I'm gonna try to glue this on, which might be tricky with the eye already on there. So like I said before, probably be easier to do this before putting the eyes on, but we can do it. Just gonna put that right there and squish it tight to make sure it lays flat. Okay, so not bad so far. And then I'm gonna put glue on my heart and put that in the middle. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to skip doing the third one because I think you get the hang of it. And I think you can do some great decorations on your own. Again, our whole point of this program is to send you home with some supplies. You decide what you think looks good. And you make your own designs. You do not have to do these exact donuts in these exact shapes with these exact colors. It is totally up to you and whatever you think your friends will enjoy. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. We would love to see what you came up with for your little donuts. I'd love to kind of find out what color combinations you combine, so feel free to share those with me. I would love to see them. And we should have our next Let's Get Crafty post up and ready to go for you to register with us. And I hope that you really enjoy this craft and you have fun sharing them with your friends. And even if you can't be with your friends in person, you can always drop them off at their house. I'm sure someone would love to have the surprise of these little donuts at their doorstep. So yeah, I hope you had fun making these with me. I don't have the list for next month, but next month we're gonna be doing a bath bomb, so that'll be fun and something a little different from what we've typically been doing. And I'm sure we'll have a great time making that together. I enjoyed making this craft with you, and I hope you enjoy sharing them with others. And happy Valentine's Day, everyone, and I will see you at another program, maybe one of our virtual story times, or maybe for another craft activity. We do have our Star Wars Valentine's Day program coming up, so definitely check our website for information about that. And I had a great time with you. Bye, everyone.